Alright, so I wanted to make a, quick video about Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, a review of it. And just off the bat, I'll say I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for years. Pretty much started with third edition, played a little bit of second, but pretty much started with third, and then I go to 3.5, and maybe I'll make a video about these different editions at some point. I don't know, but um, so 3.5, great, a lot of fun. Then you go to fourth. Didn't play fourth as much. I mean, there's some things I liked about fourth, but overall, not a massive fan of it. I don't know. I don't like hate it like some people do. Some good things about it. Then you go to fifth. I really like a lot of aspects of fifth. Have some complaints. Um, you know, this movie's definitely fifth edition inspired, which makes sense. Then I've played a lot of other pencil paper games. Shadowrun is great. Vampire the Masquerade is a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, just big fan of pencil paper games. So, anyways, so this movie, I'll start off with the things that I like. So you can tell that they were trying to create a movie that had a lot of aspects of D&D in it that like a player would notice. Like there's a bunch of spells that they use or talk about that are in the game, like invisibility. I'm looking at a list. Like some of these, like Cone of Cold, chain lightning, yeah, time stop. Um, yeah, this is gonna be like a spoiler review, pretty much. So, time stop, the lich, or I guess she's a witch. I don't know. The red wizard uses like I think disguise self. Reverse gravity. Wild shape is used many times throughout the movie. Maybe a little too many times actually. Um, Green flame blade. That's interesting. Okay, right. When one of her Red Wizard's henchmen betrays some of the other guards of Neverwinter. Um, Speak with Dead. There were some funny things about that. Although I'm not sure the spell works exactly like that because it probably has a time duration. But it's funny. It's basically an after credit scene about that. Like they don't ask the thing enough questions, and the dead guy's just sitting there. Good makeup effects on those on the dead people, by the way. Arcane Gate, that was cool with the hither tither staff. Fire breath from the dragon, which I thought the dragon looked kind of weird. It was like very overweight, but it was funny. Chris Pine was like, "Did he eat the dragon?" Mirror image. Yeah, see, I'm not see some of the spell. I'm not sure that's how it works in five. I thought it kind of just surrounds you, but oh, Black Tentacle, was that Evard's Black Tentacle? Chris Pine, Shield, Bigby's hand. That was cool. I actually really liked that fight scene at the end. Um, so yeah, Misty Step, Finger of Death, and Resurrection. So there's a lot of spells that they're actually trying. So I appreciated a lot of that. I think it looks pretty good. The costumes are pretty good. The cast, the production design, the areas that they're in. There's some bad CGI in parts, but I didn't find it too bad. The acting I thought was good. Uh, Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez, they've been in a lot of stuff. Good actors, they know what they're doing. Everyone else I thought was fine. Hugh Grant was a pretty good sleazebag, like charismatic sleazebag. Justice Smith, I wish he was in the movie more. Um, Spoiler reviews, by the way. Uh, Spoilers, but he's in it a little bit. Oh no 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 no! Sorry that. Okay, the paladin was Ray J. Page. Okay. Yeah, let me think. Justice Smith is the sorcerer. He's in like the whole movie pretty much. He's really good. Um, Sophia Lillis is the druid. So but yeah, good acting. Um, some of the music I liked, but most of the time I didn't really notice the music. There was just certain parts that kind of reminded me of like the Hobbit movies or something like that. The direction was okay. I mean, I haven't really seen a lot of this director's stuff. So he's a writer on Spider-Man Homecoming. Horrible Bosses, that's pretty funny. Writer on that. I don't know. He did that Vacation reboot, which looked terrible. I never saw it, but so I don't know. Um, and then there's another director who hasn't really done much. So, in fact, it may be his first directing job. So there's two directors. Uh, and Chris McKay is one of the story. Oh, and he directed Redfield. I just watched that. Okay. I can kind of see that, kind of similar in some ways. So that guy's done a lot. Director of the Lego Batman, the Lego Movie. I saw that. That was good. Um, so, anyways, there's a lot of talented people involved in the movie. Um, so so Chris Pine is a Harper. Now, I thought he was playing a bard, but I think I think he's just a rogue thief. Michelle Rodriguez is Polga. Now, I thought she was a half orc, but I'm not sure. I think maybe she's just a human barbarian. I think she's a barbarian. I guess she could be a fighter. I don't know. Maybe they mention it, but I don't really see her go into rage, so I'm not sure. But um, so Chris Pine's pretty much the lead in the movie. Um, Okay, so overall, I thought the movie was okay. I didn't think it was like amazing, but you know, it's better than the whatever 2000 movie. Although that movie's kind of like unintentionally hilarious, so I don't know. Um, but it's kind of trying, to be like Guardians of the Galaxy or a Marvel movie a little, I'd say, which I don't know. It's kind of, isn't that kind of like played out by now? I don't know, but I've always said it's kind of hard to make a good D&D movie because it's like some campaigns are really silly, some campaigns are more serious. So this kind of is more silly, but with a little bit of seriousness. So I don't really have many negatives there. Um, so okay, so some negatives. I thought a lot of the like I don't know, like Chris Pine. It's like he has like it seems like he has like no martial prowess at all. Like he's just all face, and it's like, well, if he's a rogue, he would have some martial prowess. I mean, I don't know. It seems like he hits some people with his flute sometimes, or his music. He's a musician, and I don't know. Honestly, like a lot of the male characters were kind of just weak. I felt like that's part of like the sorcerer's character. It's like he doesn't have confidence, and by the end, he has confidence. Um, and then you have the paladin, but he's only in the movie like for a little bit, then he leaves, and he shows at the very end. So I don't know. Felt the male characters were a little weak. I don't know if they did that on purpose or what, but um, and then Michelle Rodriguez is married to this like very feminine halfling. I think he's a halfling, and um, who was that played by? Was that I don't know. It was played by a big actor, but and like she's into like little dudes. So okay, fine. Um, and there's parts of the story that I just I don't understand. Like they break out of jail and then they go and they find that Hugh Grant is a Lord of Neverwinter. So they go to Neverwinter and and then Hugh Grant basically they were betrayed by Sophina, who's a red wizard, and then Hugh Grant, and then Chris Pine's daughter's like kind of angry at Chris Pine, and because like they lie because they say they were pardoned, but they actually broke out, and she's like angry at him, and I was like, I don't really get why she'd be angry at him. I don't know. I guess he's manipulating her, and I don't know. I didn't think that made much sense, and and then let's see. I mean, it was cool to see the city of Neverwinter. I mean, it looked pretty good. The huge Coliseum was cool. There's definitely some cool things in this movie I like. Like, it's cool to see that city in a major blockbuster. Like, that's cool. I've been to that city multiple times in video games and campaigns and stuff. So, um, I'm not sure it's that easy to become a Lord of Neverwinter. I thought actually like no one knew who the Lords of Neverwinter were. They were like masks. I don't know. That's what I remember. I could be thinking of another city. I think that's basically the biggest city on the Sword Coast. They mentioned the Sword Coast. They mentioned Baldur's Gate. at first they're gonna go to Baldur's Gate, but then he finds out that Hugh Grant is the Lord of Neverwinter, so they're like, okay, we're gonna go there because basically Chris Pine, his wife gets killed because he's a harper, and people find out that he is. So his wife gets killed, and it's kind of his fault, I guess. So I don't know. That's what I'm kind of talking about. Some of the male characters. I'm like, okay, so it's his fault. His wife gets killed, and then she gets killed, and they have a kid, and he's basically drinking himself to death, even though he has a little kid right next to him. And then Michelle Rodriguez comes in and takes pity on him and like starts raising the kid with him. So, you know, and then the kid Kira becomes, you know, Holga's kind of like a mother figure to her. So, let's see here. So I don't know. It's kind of his fault that his wife gets killed. I don't know. But then he's gonna go and find this item that can resurrect one person, and they couldn't resurrect her because she was stabbed with a dagger made by the Red Wizards. I don't know. I've never heard that resurrection magic can't do that, but okay. They are the Red Wizards. I don't know. I don't really know that much about them. I know that they're always kind of villainous and evil. And they're from Thay, which is, I think, a land to the east. And so, but they're betrayed by Sophina, and what is it? They steal a bunch of treasure and the items. Hugh Grant does, but him and Michelle Rodriguez get put in jail, and then they break out. And that scene where they're breaking out of jail, like there's this whole comedic thing with this character named like Jarvis or Jarvin or something, and I just thought that was not funny. Like, I don't know. It's a lot of the humor. Like sometimes I thought some of it was kind of funny, but a lot of times I'm just like, I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan. But um, Chris Pine was trying though. He was really trying. So then they go and find the sorcerer, and he's kind of not a great sorcerer. And then so they're like, okay, we need someone else. And then they're like, a druid could get into this chamber because of wild shape, which makes sense. So they go and find he knows her because he was trying to court her, but she wasn't interested. So they go find her, and she's a tiefling. Which is kind of cool. Um, I liked a lot of the background lore of it. Um, so she's a tiefling, and they go and get her, and she doesn't really like humans. Which is also why I was like, okay, so Michelle Rodriguez is a human. I swear I thought she was a half orc, but she doesn't really wear any makeup, so I guess she's a human. But I don't know. Maybe there's a line where she says she's half human. No, 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 no. That's what the sorcerer says. So he's like a half elf. Anyways, then they go on, an adventure, and they have to go speak with Dead, which was kind of funny. Some good makeup effects there. Some good makeup effects of like, Dragonborn. Um, I can't remember the name of those flying creatures. They're like Akasha or something. So there's some good effects there. Um, overall, you know, I think it's a fun movie. I just don't think it's that great. I mean, I don't know, 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, maybe. I think they were trying to be true to a lot of what D&D is. But like I said, I think some of the characters are kind of weak. I don't know why Chris Pine, like, he has no martial prowess. I mean, I don't know, that doesn't really make any sense. Like, if you're gonna be, I don't know what level they are, but if you're gonna be a somewhat high level rogue, like level 10 or 8 or something, I mean, you're gonna have some martial prowess. I mean, he just hits a few people with his loot. I don't know. Hugh Grant's a good villain, you know, charismatic guy. Like, I think he's probably one of the best things about the movie, honestly. Um, let's see here. But unfortunately, I think the movie bombed. Made like 200 million worldwide. So, I mean, its budget is at least 100 million or 150. So, you know, and then you add in the production budget, like, you know, trailers and promotions and everything. So there were some cool uses of wild shape, although I thought she uses it too much because it's like, I don't know, at like level 20, I think you could use it like 10 times a day or whatever. Some good uses of wild shape. She turns into an owl bear a lot. That was probably one of the cooler parts too. Her using wild shape, and then at the end she fights in a wild bear form, or an owl bear. Sorry. You know, reverse gravity, time stop. That was kind of cool. When at the end when they're put into the uh like the Coliseum, that was pretty cool. There's a Displacer Beast, which I've always liked Displacer Beast, so that's cool to see. Um, and I think they have the original characters from the old D&D cartoon show, so that's kind of funny. So yeah, and then she uses time stop, but they put this anti magic thing on her arm, and then they basically take her out, the Red Wizard lady. So I don't know. Overall, it's an okay movie. I have some problems with it. The characters I think are a little weak. At least a lot of the male characters, I think. But you know, Chris Pine is good in it. He's a good face character. I think the Paladin should have been in it the whole time. He was a good character. He should have been in it the whole time. I mean, they could have definitely used a Paladin. And it's cool when they fight the dragon, although the dragon's all fat. But anyways, yeah, it's an alright movie. Not amazing. Too bad it flopped. I mean, you know, could have maybe got a sequel, or they could have maybe fixed some of these things. But yeah, check it out if you're interested. If you played Dungeons and Dragons, or you know, pencil paper games, you'll probably enjoy parts of it. Or if you're just into fantasy in general. So check it out. It's all right. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.